hello everybody, I'm going to film very quickly on my phone temporarily because my camera is charging, as I haven't used it in ages and haven't vlogged or filmed in ages. But currently, me and Finn are converting the back of the car, or trying to, into kind of a little tent, kind of like a camper van. So this is what we're working with. Today we went to Kmart and got the goods. Finn had to buy the tape. Do you want me to go and get a knife?
No.
Me and Finn went to Kmart and got the goods. So Finn measured the inside and
Don't blame me for it.
thought that the double should fit the best. We actually had to get a tape measure from Countdown. And he bought an air pump as well.
Wait a minute. We had to get a tape measure because you didn't measure it properly and write it down.
I forgot what I measured it at.
Yeah.
So we also got pillows. Because we thought these would be good because you don't actually have to put a case over them. We decided to do it this way just because it would be a little bit of fun. And also just very different to what the rest of our travels are going to be like. We've been booking, we booked our flights to Bangkok from Fiji, planning lots of stuff. And yeah, this is kind of the next step. 2 weeks we kind of go travelling, which is stop kicking the bugs, which is kind of crazy. Things are coming around very quickly and it all feels very weird that we're going to be leaving New Zealand in about a month or so. But anyway, as I was saying, we've got these cushions, and then I'll go to the other side. We didn't want to buy sleeping bags or anything, so we got this big blanket and a smaller one as well, so make it a little bit cozy. As you notice, we've got coats on. We did buy coats about a week ago because the temperature has currently dropped significantly here, and it is definitely autumn. So right, let's go pump it up. We're in business. Oh, we're in it and we fit. It's actually not bad. The pillows are all right actually, and I think we've got the right decision to use these because you can take the covers off and wash them. There's zips at the end.
Are you?
So we didn't have to buy extra like pillowcases.
Can we access the... I don't think we can open the boot from this end.
You just got to get our blankets, and I reckon we could have a nap right now. Pretty comfy. This is going to be crazy sleeping in the back of a car for 2 weeks.
I don't know if I got this pumped up too much. Is it meant to be the other way around?
What do you mean?
No, it's meant to be that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Look how cosy. So that's with, it's quite warm in the car. That's with this doubled up and then another blanket on top. So I actually think we're going to be warm enough. I don't think we'll need sleeping bags. And I'm sure there's a Kmart in Queenstown if we get really cold.
Yeah, you won't want to put yourself in a sleeping bag, but maybe...
No, you wouldn't in there.
Open up a sleeping bag.
Yeah,
and
like
have it on top
one.
of you.
Yeah. But look how cozy it is. I think that'll be perfect. So that is that converted. I think we'll be pretty much all good with that kind of setup. We're definitely doing it this way because it's going to be cheaper. We can go to camping sites. I've looked on different websites to see where we can legally like camp. You can only camp in certain like freedom camping sites if you're a self-certified vehicle, like a camper van with facilities, which obviously we're not. So we'll have to make sure we're careful about where we're camping so we can definitely camp there. So some freedom camping sites have facilities like toilets, so you can camp there like in the back of your car. That's what I've taken from what I've read. But we will be staying at campsites as well with facilities like showers, toilets, kitchens, everything like that. But they're at such a minimal price. They're usually at like $10-20 per person per night, which is about £10, £5 to £10. So really the way we're doing it, we're saving money because as well, everything we got all there, all together probably cost about just over $100. Maybe $150. So yeah, it was just under $150 for all of that, which is about £75, which isn't too bad.
No, for an air mattress, 2 pillows, 2 blankets, and a pump.
I have to put that back because my hand's hurting. But yeah, so I think really we're saving money, but also it's going to be a bit different. That's going to be cool. I'll also do like a little update on what we've booked and kind of our booking process, because I don't see a lot of videos actually online basically talking about costs of flights and everything you have to do before you travel, because there is so much involved. So it's Easter holiday, Easter bank weekend. Oh my god. It's Easter holiday bank weekend? Easter bank holiday weekend. Yeah. There we go, got it. And we have the whole weekend off. We were going to go to Kaikoura and Kaikoura. And kind of test it out, but I've been feeling a bit unwell, and we decided just to have a chill weekend and kind of finish our booking. So some more kind of further steps that we've taken in terms of booking and organising, because there's so much to organise in a trip like we're doing. First off, we've had to apply for our visa extensions for New Zealand for when we come back. I'm doing a separate video on our visa extension process, which will be coming soon when we know that it's fully done. There's been a fairly long process where we're getting there because it's all paper and not online. Then we've paid for Fiji, and we've also booked all the flights to Fiji. So we're going from Christchurch to Auckland to Nadi on the 10th of May. So that is all booked and kind of confirmed. And our Fiji holiday is confirmed as well. We've then got our flights, which we booked last night, to Fiji to Bangkok. Now, I was looking at so many different flights because there's so many different ways you could go. Not a lot of people will probably do that route from Fiji to Bangkok, so I think that's why. But I'm going to give you a little price on all the flights that we've booked so far. Right, so carrying on. Yeah, so prices of everything that we've booked. So I'm going to start off with our flights to Fiji. So flights that we've booked from Christchurch to Auckland were $234 each. Altogether, sorry, $234 altogether, which equates to probably £218. So that's an hour's flight. That includes 30kg baggage, 7kg carry-on baggage, and I booked that straight through Jetstar's direct website. I just found that a little bit easier than going through like Skyscanner and everything, especially because it was really a short trip, so it didn't matter too much. It's only an hour. We booked that at 8 AM, and then the next flight in...
Booked at 4 AM.
4 AM, yeah, that's what I said.
No, you didn't, you said booked it at 8 AM.
I booked it for 8 AM then, thank you, Finn. So that is the first cost. So that wasn't too bad actually. And then the flights from Auckland to Fiji or Nadi were £144 each. That's a 3-hour flight with Fiji Airways. I booked that through trip.com, which I found through Skyscanner. I always check for flights, Skyscanner, Kayak, and directly with the airline, just to see what comes out cheaper. So that is kind of how I try and find flights as cheap as possible. And also Expedia, that's the flights we booked through Expedia to come here. It's going to be a very waffly video, but it'll be interesting for anyone who wants to know about pre-travel paying and organising. That's all booked. Now Fiji was a good expense, and I'm going to talk about this more I think on or when we start the Fiji vlogs in about a month's time. 4 weeks time we go to Fiji. Yeah, I'll talk about it then, about the cost, what we paid for, but I've booked that through Fiji or Awesome Fiji Adventures, I think it is. The next expense was then Fiji to Bangkok, and as I say, this was a bit of a trouble trying to find the right flight. So I looked on Kayak and Skyscanner. I even looked on trip.com directly this time, and I looked on Expedia, and there are so many different ways and routes to go from Fiji to Bangkok, like so many, and a lot with budget airlines. Now this includes Jetstar, AirAsia, Scoot, all of those kind of budget airlines for long haul flights for 5 hours and a 9-hour flight, and then they were coming out around £300 to £400 one way, which I thought was a really good price. But the only problem with booking with those budget airlines is you don't get any on-air entertainment. You have to pay a fee for that, and you don't get any food as well. You have to pay for that, so you've got to kind of keep that and bear that in mind, that those are extra things you have to pay for with those airlines, especially Jetstar. Also, with budget airlines, I will say they're not going to be as comfortable. It is like probably Jetstar is the equivalent of EasyJet, I'd say, at home, and we call them Squeezy Jet for a reason. Our flight wasn't too bad with Jetstar for an hour, but I don't think I could have done it for another 4. This camera keeps focusing and unfocusing. So when I was looking at different flights, I found through Expedia a route that goes from Bangkok to Sydney and Sydney to Bangkok. 2 stops, which wasn't too bad at all. It's with Qantas, so a pretty well-known and well-reviewed airline. It includes all meals, baggage for 30 kilograms, carry-on baggage for 7 kilograms. It includes everything we kind of need. We managed to book our seats as well, free of charge. We weren't going to book extra legroom unless they were available, and there was no like 2 seats next to each other available. But that was only an extra $15, which is another £7.50, probably £8 to £9 from the Australian exchange rate, which actually isn't that bad. When we were coming here, booking through Emirates, we had to pay quite a lot more to book the seats we wanted. How much did we pay? I felt like we paid at like
£64,
yeah,
$128 each.
so around £60 each to book the seats we wanted for the flight to New Zealand. And with Qantas,
well, no, it was from Dubai to Auckland. They're the seats we booked. We didn't book the first ones. The first ones came through.
Oh, did they?
It was only the second
2
stint.
flights.
It was only
Okay.
the second stint we paid for. It was too expensive.
But with Qantas, we didn't have to pay for that, which was great. We've got 2 seats for both flights, next to each other by the window. The second longer flight, which is 9 hours, it's just us 2, which is perfect, near the toilets. Like, very happy with not having to pay for that. And I know they're standard seats, but Qantas should be quite comfortable. So the flights for that was £633 each. Again, that's quite expensive, and was very hesitant to press that buy now button and confirm. But I'm very happy with the fact that yes, we're paying a bit more, but we're going to be a bit more comfortable. The only other thing is that the layover time in Sydney is 14 hours. Our layover time is a long time. We booked a hotel right outside the airport. I think it's the Citadine Hotel for like £90 a night. It's the cheapest one, but it's literally on the doorstep. So our next flight the next day is like 10 to 10. We need to be there probably about 3 hours before. So if we have to get up early, at least we can literally be on the airport doorstep, and at least we can have a shower. We can kind of be a bit more refreshed for the next flight, rather than being really groggy from travel. I mean, we're still going to be tired, but kind of splits it up a bit. So our next kind of, not dilemma, but the next thing is we have to get Sydney, Australia transit visas. Now these are 72-hour visas for basically if you're transiting through the country, which we are, for less than 72 hours. It's free, you don't have to pay for it. And it wasn't an easy to apply for like any visa. We had to basically say everything from where we are going, where we're coming from, what we were doing in the country before, and everything like that. So we had to explain why we're in New Zealand, where we're coming from, which is Fiji, where we're going to, why we're going to the next country, everything like that. So they just want to know basically why you're coming through the country, which is fair enough, but it's a very long process. And I basically had to give evidence, everything from my passport, a copy of my passport, and this is one thing that was great. I've got copies of me and Finn's passports, driving license and my birth certificate all on my computer, which my dad did for me, and he's got it as well if we ever lose it. So I had to send a copy of a passport, copy of a lot of different things, just to kind of prove I'm who I am, probably. Prove that we have a visa for the next country, which we don't need to, because in Thailand you get the first 30 days free with a British passport. It's basically just everything like that. Now the only problem is, so last night I applied for mine and I basically said yes to them if I needed to get biometrics done, which was fine. I thought, oh, I'll be fine, I shouldn't need to do that. But now I've had to book an appointment in Christchurch to get my biometrics done for a 72-hour visa in Australia for 1 day transiting through the country, which isn't ideal because you need to get it done within 2 weeks of when you're told. So again, it's free, but I've had to book an appointment in Christchurch to get my biometrics done for this visa, which isn't ideal, but just be aware of that when you are applying for this visa. So yes. So that's kind of all in all what's planned, what's booked, how much it's cost. I'll talk about Fiji more when it comes to Fiji. And we've just got 2 weeks left until we go to we finish here in Methven and we go travelling around the South Island in the back of our car, and then Fiji, and then Asia, and then we're in Asia for about 4.5-5 months, which I'm all planning now. I've literally got a book of all of our travel plans in here. I'll put it all on my laptop. I'm making spreadsheets and everything just to keep organised. Now, I will stress, we are doing solo travel. We aren't doing any group tours or anything like that. We are doing it off our own backs, which makes me a little bit nervous, but also I think it should be absolutely fine. Lots of people do it. And I am just trying to keep organised. I've basically been looking at hotels, average price of a hotel. We'll stay in hostels if the price kind of matches. A lot of the time for private rooms in hostels, it's the same price, if not less, than others. So we've just been looking elsewhere, looking at how to get to each place. Like at the moment, I'm looking about how we get off the Fiji, PP Islands to Koh Lanta, to then how I get to Malaysia, and just trying to figure out all of that. But as I say, in the next 6 months, there's a lot of exciting things happening. You'll see a lot more of vlogs from me and Finn.
And me.
And Finn. So definitely, if you're interested in keeping updated with I want to just show the organising side of things, because I feel like a lot of people don't show that. Like, this is the reality of travelling and backpacking, like the organising behind it all and everything like that. And making sure we can get into different countries, especially like visa-wise and stuff. But yes, if you're still listening to me, I'm very impressed that you've listened to me for this long. I hope you've been interested in what I have to say. And my camera's about to run out of charge, so I'll leave it there. Make sure you comment down below if you found this interesting or helpful, if you're excited for the next vlogs, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!
Bye.